Snetterton. So we watch for the red lights to turn on. There they go. And they go out now. Away we go. And a good start by number 17, Paul Boyd, from the second row of the grid. One car on the grass a little bit further back. But who's going to lead into the first corner at Riches? Is it going to be Paul Boyd from all the way around the outside? It's not quite. I don't think it's going to be Paul Collingwood in actual fact that's going to hold on to the lead of the race as they head up towards the Montreal hairpin for the first time. But Boyd is going to go around the outside, and will try to at Wilson, I should say. So it's Collingwood actually that holds on. It's Boyd in second, and in third place it's the 15 car of Clive Hudson. So eclipses 1, 2 and 3 at the moment. Is it then Andy Hiley in fourth in the Kronos? Yes it is. And then it's the Mev, and then it's Lewis Ward in the Westfield in sixth position. But it's Paul Collingwood converting that pole position into an early race lead.
The car that was off the road at the start was Warren Vesey, one of the championship contenders from Class B. I think it was he and Stuart Thompson that had a bit of a brush off the line. Hopefully they managed to sort themselves out. So we'll keep an eye on that Class B battle as the race goes on. But it's eclipses 1, 2, 3 with Paul Collingwood just starting to breeze away from Paul Boyd, who's run wide at Oggies but been able to chop in ahead still of Clive Hudson, two drivers that have been racing these cars I think pretty much when they were introduced to the championship. Then Andy Hiley down in fourth. We don't say that too often nowadays with that car. No,
Andy Hiley has been very successful in recent seasons in particular, and actually for a long time within kit cars, which preceded Sports Specials, but he's won the championship in the last 3 years as Andy Hiley.
Hudson's on second there, past Boyd.
Has, and Hudson and Boyd have raced with and against each other for a long time. Boyd won the championship in 2017, Hudson back in 2012. Collingwood's never won the championship, but he's got away to a good start to this race here. He didn't do the first meeting. He's had 3 finishes out of the 4 races that he has competed in, but none of them right at the very sharp end so far this season.
Well, Boyd had a big old moment there into Murray's. Lewis Ward has got up to 5th, so he's had a quickest start, but he's gained position since. But Paul Collingwood really got away on the first lap of the race for 3rd after that moment. Paul Boyd is losing out, I think, to Andy Hiley up towards Ritchie's. Hiley on the inside line, slots through and goes ahead then of Paul Boyd, so a change there as the rest of the field make their way through. Then let's have a look down at Wilson. Has Hiley held on? Here he has, but Lewis Ward has caught them. He was a little way behind at the start, so he's fighting back well in that Westfield.
Yeah, our timing screen's not yet caught up with this particular race, so we can't bring you an update on the positions just yet. It is from what we can see out of the window, Paul Collingwood that is leading by a convincing margin from number 15, Clive Hudson in second place, 53. In third place is Andy Hiley then. But yeah, Lewis Ward right with Paul Boyd then for 4th and 5th position. He's taken Anton Landon with him as well. There's a gap back then behind Landon. And we can see Hiley in the Kronos. He had to take some time out after a cycling accident. He's been in good form over the past few seasons, to say. Lewis Ward, we saw him out a few years ago racing in the MR2 Championship with some success. Narrowly missed out on a championship a few years ago, but going very well so far this season in this Westfield, as Josh was saying, in particular at Brands Hatch with the win.
Yeah, I think he got a win at Croft, didn't he?
Did, yeah.
Hiley had a problem.
That's right.
But good to see a different type of car out. And I think the rules were adjusted a little bit this year, weren't they? So the front engine cars could have that touch more power to sort of even it out, balance performance as such, from the front engine to the rear / mid-engine cars. So here comes Clive Hudson under pressure from Andy Hiley down in towards Murray's. Paul Collingwood so far in front, he's not actually in our shot, which made me wonder if he's still there, and he is. It's a long way clear is Paul Collingwood. There's Stuart Much, the boss of MEV, and he was telling me earlier they just produced 1,300 of these cars now, road and race. More people coming out, different kits coming out.
He's under pressure at the moment though from Gary Goodyear, isn't he?
Different class car, yes. But Gary Goodyear trying to go with the other Class A cars that have got the jump at the start. Yeah, good to see him back out because he was missing at Brands.
Yeah, Gary Goodyear in the ARL.
I think he went quite well at Croft, didn't he, earlier in the year?
That's right. So there you can see the 7 car which is Stuart Much. Then it's Gary Goodyear in number 56, and then the other car in behind is the next of the Mevs, which I think is that David Hughes, I think, 76.
Yeah, well, Goodyear got second across, so a bit further back today it's Snetterton, but if he can get past Stuart Much, life will come a little bit easier. So Stuart Much turning through there. He was winner in Class C, in Class 2 once, twice at Croft. It was David Hughes last time out at Brands Hatch, and that got tight into the left-handed at Hamilton. Much and Goodyear were very tight there, but they got away with it. They carry on their battle, and Much is, I think, quite keen to keep this car between himself and his class rival at the moment, having that buffer of a Class A car.
We'll try and work out what's going on in Class B as well. But as I say, our live timing is it's not working. As you can see, you've not got anything on your timing tower either for this race, so a glitch, I'm afraid, at the moment. But we'll continue telling you what we can from the screen and what we can see out of our window. Leaders are about to go up the line to complete what's going to be lap 3 of the race, with about 9 minutes of the race left to go. Still number 11 Paul Collingwood that is leading. In second place it's number 15 Clive Hudson. In third is Andy Hiley. In fourth it's Paul Boyd. In fifth it's Lewis Ward, and in sixth place it's Anton Landon. We're watching the battle for third place on screen at the moment.
Yeah, but Boyd is fighting back, isn't he, up the inside. Hiley blocked that though, so he had to switch sides. So where Hiley had the pace sort of for a couple of laps, now the Paul Boyd car that sort of struggled at the start is fighting back and trying to make a pass into Palmer. He can't quite manage that though, so Hiley hangs on to third, Boyd there in fourth, fifth for Lewis Ward, and then Anton Landon not far away either. But as I think you were saying, Paul Collingwood still up ahead and leading the race by a good margin. Doesn't look like the others are catching, really, does it?
No, I don't think so, not particularly. At this stage of the race, just about halfway through. Still, unfortunately, no timing available at the moment, so we can only go on what's going on out of our window. We don't have a lap charter here with us today.
Spinner at Agostini, he's one of the Mevs. Looks like Stuart Thompson only third in Class B. So both the drivers who have done most of the winning this year, not so much success at this point in this race.
Is it the two Caterhams that are ahead? Oh, we've got some timing now. Yes, we do have timing, and yeah, Class B is being led by Andrew Grant. He's a Caterham, isn't he? And Andrew Hayward is in the Silver Clubman.
Yeah, he went really well at Brands. He took it to Stuart Thompson there as well, and I don't think he's done much racing. Young driver involved in all of this. So that's good to see, but it's Andrew Grant, like you say, a couple of seconds or so ahead in Class B. But here they are, the Class B, that battle actually between Andrew Hayward and Stuart Thompson. Then there's another, the other Caterham's just behind, isn't it? So that is Adam Cottrell. Yeah.
That's second, third and fourth within the class effectively at the moment, within Class B. The MK Indy in the midst of all of that. A former championship winning car, and it was in the hands of Matthew Booth in 2016.
Yeah, it's been sort of a little bit downgraded this year, hasn't it? Definitely into Class B. There's Nigel Brown. He's been around the 750 Club paddock for a few years here.
Yeah, just the odd decade or four, something like that. In sports specials, in kit cars before that. Hardly has missed a race in those categories during that time. Goodyear's got ahead of Much, I notice now, up into 7th position. We could just see that changing on the timing tower. So Stuart Much still leading Class C, and Andrew Grant still leading in Class B in his Caterham.
Now we've got the times. We can see that Paul Collingwood has set a new lap record during the course of this race, 2:02.65. So underneath Andy Hiley's lap record by a few tenths.
So it's a good showing this from Paul Collingwood. Really strong weekend for him so far. Really not tempting fate by saying that.
Stuart Much and David Hughes have put themselves together now. Gary Goodyear has cleared them. He's supercharged MX-5 Mark 1 kit out there. There is our Class B leader. So that is Andrew Grant, still involved in that battle with Nigel Brown.
Yeah, so nice little scramble there in two different classes, and then you've got the Class B second place battle going through just behind. So it's Hayward at the front of that group, isn't it, in the 27 car. So he's going through just 20 years of age, from Kettering, a fabricator by occupation, and started racing just a couple of seasons ago in this self-prepared Silver Clubman car he's had for 2 years.
Quite an old car as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dates back to the 1980s, so one of the oldest cars on the grid here. Going well.
Absolutely right.
Oh, boys, having another go at Andy Hiley up towards Ritchie, just looking out the window, and I think he might get it around the outside. Yes, so Andy Hiley gets dropped off the podium. But back to the Class B battle.
Yep. On the screen. Yep, so second, third and fourth in Class B here. There's that MK Indy for Stuart Thompson, and just behind him, as that's Mark Callahan, isn't it, in the Tay deck going into the back entrance to the paddock. He's in problems. Back to this battle though, that's yes, the 27 car of Hayward, 30 car of Stuart Thompson, and then it's Adam Cottrell even in the Caterham, the third of those cars. Good to see a few of these Caterhams on the grid. Seen them on occasions this season. A bit further up the road, you've got the 52 car of Andrew Grant, the red Caterham leading the class.
Oh, Hiley's off.
Hiley's out of the race there. So possibly he's been nursing a problem all race long, and it's finally become too much. Oh, that's Hayward.
No, 26.
It's 26, beg your pardon. It's not Hayward, it's the car of Alan Robinson that's off the circuit as well. Getting up close and personal with our cameraman there. Back out into the race.
Thompson's got second, hasn't he, ahead of Hayward?
Yes, he has.
So that's a real battle.
And it's good news for Stuart Thompson in the championship with this, because it means he'll stretch you further away from Andy Hiley, especially having got that second place in the class away from the 27 car now.
For the lead, the gap's down to 2.8 seconds. Paul Collingwood's been caught pretty rapidly now by Clive Hudson. So, see how that pans out. Andrew Grant's fastest lap in Sports Specials, Class B. Alan Cottrell's got the lap record though here, but he's struggling to get past Andrew Hayward at the moment. They turn their way through. So Collingwood's done another lap, and the gap 2.8 seconds becomes what? We might not know.
2.4. So 2.62 there for Clive Hudson now, who's got the new fastest lap and lap record. As off goes Warren Vesey, number 46 in his Fisher Fury. Now he was second in the Class B championship standings and third overall coming into this weekend. So it's not been a good day for certainly two of the top three championship contenders so far.
So Clive Hudson now with the lap record. Hasn't done that much racing in the last few years, so that's good to see.
It's interesting, you know, the top four in this race have done 202.65, 202.62, 202.80 and 202.81, and Hiley done a 203.16 as well, so the lap times are really close, aren't they?
It's the Lewis Ward's right up there, where she wasn't really in qualifying. Last lap board is out, so it'll be a 7-lap race. Stuart Thompson. The Class B leader slowing, isn't that?
Yes.
Andrew Grant.
Andrew Grant in the red Caterham's slowing. You've just missed him going through that shot there. So that means it's going to be Stuart Thompson then that goes into the class lead all of a sudden.
Yeah, only just. He wasn't far ahead. Here's Collingwood, so he should be able to. No, that's not Collingwood. Now it's Collingwood, isn't it? Coming over the brow of the hill. So he's just about far enough ahead of Clive Hudson. Then Paul Boyd under pressure from Lewis Ward, who has gone 3 seconds quicker than he did in qualifying. So that's pretty a pretty big gain.
Stuart Thompson is leading Class B at the moment from, I think it's Andrew Hayward and then Andrew Grant.
Grant's back up to speed now.
Yeah, looks like it.
That's all a bit bizarre.
Checker flag being made ready then for Paul Collingwood then, who's looking for his first victory of the season. So far this year he's not had too much to show for his efforts, but he's coming out of the final corner up to the checker flag, not quite lapping the number 70 car, but Paul Collingwood wins the race for the Freakyparts Sports Specials Championship. Second place goes the way of Clive Hudson, and third Paul Boyd. Fourth is Lewis Ward, It's a bit of a gap back then to Anton Landon, the Sienna, in 5th position. Then it should be Gary Goodyear in 6th place. Yes, his Dayglow car just taking into Murray's now. So he's going to be 6th overall and 6th in Class A as well. Then I think we've got the 2 Mevs.
Here's Class B, what might be good to watch when we get back to the Meds in a minute, because Stuart Thompson's got Andrew Grant back into 2nd place right on him, then Andrew Hayward, and then Adam Cottrell, 4 of them as one in decorum.
Yeah, so this is for the Class B victory. Stuart Thompson, the championship leader, is trying to fend them off, but it's not necessarily working. Is he going to lose out here to the 52 car of Andrew Grant, who tries to get up the inside? There's Nigel Brown in the Class A car just ahead of them as well. Now it looks as if once he gets onto the power, Stuart Thompson's just able to pull away a little bit, so they're coming up to the line, and it's a blanket finish for the 4 Class A cars, and it is Stuart Thompson that clings on by 1300ths of a second, but those 4 cars covered only by 4/10 or so of a second. Stuart Thompson, number 30, Andrew Grant, 52, Andrew Hayward, 27, and Adam Cottrell, number 80. So an exciting finish there to Class B, as you were saying, Josh.
Yeah, so Class C, let's get back to the Mavs. Well, Stuart Much won that by much bigger margin, because Darren Griffin got 2nd because David Hughes had a very slow last lap, so he obviously had an off and dropped back to 3rd. But yeah, quite the battle in Class B that was. Not sure what happened to Andrew Grant at the start of the lap, but that's all gone very well for Stuart Thompson. So you said about Andrew Hardy retiring was good for Stuart Thompson. Well, he got a lot better as he got the class lead on that last lap, which it didn't look like that was going to happen. And then he had to work hard to fight them off. So that's 5 wins now for Stuart Thompson in Class B, even if it didn't look like that one was coming. Yeah, his main rivals all retiring, Hiley and Vesey. Stuart Much will probably move up because of all that. And Lewis Ward as well, although he got 4th, didn't he? But as you say, the lap time's really close. So that bodes well good for tomorrow's race as well, I think.
Yeah, and that's going to be after lunch tomorrow, 1:05 in the afternoon, for the Freakyparts Sports Specials Championship race. And very entertaining, very evenly matched field in both Class A and Class B. There's Warren Vesey and a Marshall there just coming over to assist. Shame for Warren, it's his championship hopes just diminishing a little bit with that retirement. Hopefully he'll be back out tomorrow.
He retired in the 2nd race at Brands as well, so
it's not a good run then, is it?
No, exactly.
That's a shame for him.
Because last year he was really consistent all the way through, wasn't he? But let's see if we can go in here with our class winners on the Sports Specials with Kieran McGinley.
So with the conclusion of that race, it's only fair that we have a chat to our class winners, and I'm delighted to say that I'm joined by our first one in Paul Collingwood. Paul, congratulations on the victory today. How are you feeling?
Really happy, yeah. You've got to be happy for a win, haven't you? Yeah.
Absolutely. And talk us through the race there.
Well, I managed to sneak in from pole to the lead for the first corner, and that was it. I just made a gap and maintained it. So it's relatively easy.
Yeah, you say that, but how is it really to keep these cars under wraps?
They're very fast, and you slide about quite a bit, so yeah, it's hard work.
It's hard work, but you've got a huge smile on your face, so you must be very, very happy with everything out there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the car's running really hot because of the hot day, but
well, apart from that.
But everything seems okay so far, yeah.
And how are you feeling towards tomorrow?
Well, I didn't get 2 good laps this morning, so it's I'm on 4th, I think, on the grid tomorrow. So we'll see what happens.
All eyes will be on you then, Paul. Congratulations on the class victory, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you. That's great. Thank you.
Paul Collingwood, class winner there. Let's have a look and chat to our number 7 in Stuart Much. Stuart, where are you? Stuart, congratulations, class victory. How are you feeling?
Exhausted. That was a hard race. Myself and Dave were. Well, he qualified just in front of me, and I managed to get past him eventually. And then got one of the Class A cars in between us, and then he came past us, so we were back together again. And then we just spent the whole race just checking my mirrors, seeing where he was, making silly mistakes so he could catch me back up. And then at one point on the last lap, we changed place twice, and I looked in my mirror and it disappeared. So I don't know if he had an off trying to keep up or what, but it was a great race with Dave, and gonna have to go and give him a beer afterwards, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, talk us through, because obviously that sets up for tomorrow. Then can we see more of the same tomorrow from you?
I hope so. I hope Darren and the rest of the pack for the X sets can keep up as well, because it's a lot of fun racing with all the same class, and we try and stick together at least as long as we can, but then the front runners just pull away a little bit.
Must be great fun out there. You've got a smile on your face, it must be.
Yeah, it's such a buzz, and especially when you're racing somebody as well for that. Well, myself and Dave are both on the same point, so every point counts. So I think I've got fastest lap there as well, so that's another point in the bag.
Yeah, that'll be to be confirmed. I can't say that right now, but there we go.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, we'll see, hopefully.
You'll have to tell me.
Yeah.
But congratulations on the class victory, Stuart, and we'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Thank you. Cheers.
Stuart Much then, one of our class winners, and let's have a chat to our final class winner. Oh, we haven't got time, unfortunately, so I'll hand it over then. It will be now time for the second race of the Toyo Tyres Toyota MR2 Championship.